Here's a little thread I found of right-wingers proudly displaying the fact that they have gas stoves and they are using them. Here is Matt Gaetz saying, "You'll have to pry it from my cold, dead hands," just posting a video of his incredibly dirty stovetop as he just runs the gas flame for a period of time. More right-wingers reply with videos of them running all of the burners on their gas stoves. How long before one of these guys dies? Culture war stuff in the United States moves incredibly fast nowadays. Like, there's like every 2 days, there's some sort of new culture war topic. Future Horse here, and I forgot to release this video when it was completely relevant. So, here it is, about 3 weeks after this all started. But for whatever reason, the gas stove discourse has permanent staying power, and it's now a definitive part of U.S. culture war. For how long? I don't fucking know. I think it's going to go on forever. And all of a sudden, everyone has these positions, and the conservatives are ready to die to defend whatever absurd culture war position they have now decided on Tuesday that they support. So basically, California was talking about banning gas stoves, I believe. Is that correct? It was California was talking about banning gas stoves?
Yeah, there wasn't even a bill. It was like a discussion.
Right. California's talking about banning gas stoves. And, the kind of things like, well, electric stoves are pretty good these days, right? Electric stoves were not great years ago, but they've been fine, if not quicker, than gas stoves for a while.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're talking induction stoves as opposed to coil stoves, suck donkey nuts, but induction stoves are pretty.
And good. I've actually had good coil stoves that work really well. But yeah, induction stoves are great, right? I've had both. Induction stoves are really, really good. Sure, if you like gas stoves, whatever, right? I don't really fucking care, but it's kind of like, it's going to be easier for infrastructure in the future to not have to run lines of flammable gas all over the cities, right? It's going to be easier if we just have electric lines. Going forward, maybe we should just replace this, right? And within hours, both sides have just made up these positions like it is the firmest belief that they have ever had. You have all the liberal media on one side being like, gas stoves are ridiculous, right? Why is anybody still using gas stoves, right? But their reaction on the liberal media side, like, absolutely paled to how the conservatives have reacted, because all of a sudden, in 24 hours, I want to keep reiterating, this happens in 24 hours, the conservative media, their new hill to die on, is not banning gas stoves. And they're like all convinced. They're like, actually electric stoves do not work at all. Electric stoves have never worked, and I would fucking die before I give up my gas stove. So from Governor Ron DeSantis, like, Ron DeSantis is so fucking desperate to be relevant. This guy is so desperate to be involved in the conversation. His star is falling fast, and he just hired some fucking dude off Fiverr to whip this off.
You're not taking our gas stoves away from us. That is your choice. And I know many people who cook a lot do not want to part with their gas.
Don't tread on Florida, and don't mess with gas stoves. First off, you can't do don't mess with. That's Texas's thing. You can't do don't mess with. You're a fucking Floridian. Only the Texan freaks, only the Texan religious freaks can go, don't mess with gas stoves. That's not yours to say. And then he did a version of the Gadsden flag with a gas stove on it with his signature on it. Don't tread on Florida, gas stoves. And then a suspiciously Confederate looking color scheme for this one. Leave us alone. We need our gas stoves. Republicans, when their kids won't talk to them. Leave us alone. I will never give up my gas stove. If the maniacs in the White House come for my stove, they can pry it from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
187 million Americans have gas stoves. It will cost a fortune to replace them. There's no science behind this. This is another excuse Biden is trying to put more government in your lives. What? It was a fucking discussion, dude. What are you fucking talking about? If gas stoves were really a health hazard, would the Dr. Jill Biden be using one? Oh, that was the other point, is that, like, gas stoves can be dangerous, right, due to the risk of gas leaks blowing up your house or poisoning you, which, honestly, you got to be pretty silly for that to happen to you. But, you know, if you have a gas oven, that can have a carbon monoxide leak. I've had that happen before. And, of course, you know, it is combusting flammable gas. You know, it's reducing the indoor air quality. But people have been using gas stoves for a very long time, and people blow up and die much less frequently from gas stoves than they did in the Victorian era. And that is called progress. Back in the Victorian era, did you know they had gas-powered refrigerators, Bielski?
Wait, really?
No, they had gas-powered refrigerators during the Victorian era, and those things killed like 5 people in London a week. They just kept blowing up. They had gas-powered everything. So they're a lot safer than they used to be. But the entire Republican movement has just gone to this. Here's Jim Jordan. God, guns, gas stoves. Dude, what? What the fuck are you talking about, man? Gun gods, gas. Why do you fucking care this much about gas stoves?
There's no reason to do so.
I really don't get it. Why are you guys all yelling about gas stoves now? It's like, dude, this topic people have been talking about this for like 2 days, and you guys are already completely on board with I'd rather die than give up my gas stove. I rather die. Now, and this is the last one we're going to talk about because this is by far the funniest. So, Cat Turd, the man that Elon Musk burned $20 billion to befriend, that cat turd, the perpetually shadow-banned conservative cat poster, Cat Turd 2, "Dear liberals, I turned on all my gas stoves today and let them burn for no reason, and there's nothing you can do about it but cry." First off, just as a note of a concept of that these guys, their entire ideology revolves around whatever they think is going to trigger the libs in this specific moment, right? Remember when they smashed all their Keurig coffee makers because they thought it was going to trigger the libs? Or when they said their name was Trump at Starbucks? Or whatever dumb asinine thing these guys come up with for their 1-week culture war, whatever reprieve they have from inching on genocide against trans people, right? And I'm just loving the idea of imagining this becoming a serious culture war issue and Republicans all across the United States just leaving their gas stoves on 24/7 until that pilot light flickers out and their house fills with fucking gas. How many conservative Twitter users are gonna fucking Sylvia Plath themselves or blow their fucking house? How many are going to die of carbon monoxide? If this becomes a real carbon or culture war topic, so many of these guys are just gonna blow up their houses by accident, die of carbon monoxide poisoning, or best case, have like a $600 gas bill that they refuse to pay. They're like, no, I can't pay that gas bill. I was doing this to trigger the libs. And look at the memes in the comment. Cat turd in front of a gas stove. Ha ha ha. Oh, this is so funny. The crying lady from 2016. Ha, it's so funny in 2023. Get a new fucking meme. LOL. Yeah, gas stove, baby. Woo! Okay. Here's the funniest part. Cat Turd doesn't have a gas stove.
Wait, really?
He doesn't have a gas stove. Somebody looked up Cat Turd. Right? Somebody looked up Cat Turd, and they found his property because his house is the registered headquarters for Cat Turd LLC. Yes, he registered Cat Turd LLC. And when they pulled up the LLC, damn, look at that. He's got an induction electric cooktop. Absolutely. And that is just
profoundly tired.
This is just like the perfect note to end this stupid little culture war story on, right? All of these guys just hue and cry and they just hop on about whatever asinine culture war topic is du jour. And they all scream and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna epically own the libs by running my gas stove 24/7 until I die of gas poisoning, of asphyxiation. Dude doesn't even have a fucking gas stove. He doesn't even have a fucking gas stove. He's got an electric stove. What are you crying about, buddy? He's just so desperate to get that clout from the culture war. And ultimately, this is what a lot of these people boil down to, right? Obviously, they're reactionaries, but their behavior is purely reactive to being the contra, or the counter to whatever they believe in their imagined world of their little Plato's cave online that the libs think. So If the libs liked gas stoves, they'd be all electric, baby. But since the libs said something about gas stoves, they're all going to just take it upon themselves to climb up the hill that place they die is gas stoves. Even if they don't even have one in their fucking house.